His girlfriend basically gave him an ultimatum. Either shut up and watch her best friend lie to a man about being a father, or they were done. He chose to tell the truth. And yeah, it blew up all of their lives. I'll tell you my views on this at the end, and they're probably not what you expect. So this guy had been with his girlfriend Becca for just over a year. Her inner circle was small and tight, just her best friend Cindy and a guy named Mike who they'd both known since college. And there was something about Mike that just rubbed him the wrong way. He couldn't exactly put his finger on it, but Mike was just a little too handsy, a bit too familiar with the girls. But Becca always just brushed it off, saying he's like a protective older brother. So he tried to ignore it. But that all changed at her sister's wedding. They were all there, and he stepped outside for some fresh air and saw them, Mike and Cindy, making out. He doesn't know why, but he pulled out his phone and recorded a short video before going back inside. And on the drive home, he decided to test the waters with Becca. He casually mentioned that he'd heard that Mike and Cindy were seen together, and his girlfriend panicked, which was not the reaction that he expected. And Becca was just relieved that he hadn't told Cindy's boyfriend Stan. She actually admitted that she regularly covers for Cindy's affair with Mike, calling Stan's suspicions annoying. And just 2 weeks later, it all went from a simple affair to something way darker. He was at Becca's place when Cindy called on speaker to announce that she was pregnant. And it was pretty clear that Cindy was sure the baby was Mike's. But she was going to tell Stan it was his. And when he asked Becca why she'd help with such a huge lie, her answer just horrified him. She said Mike made more money, but didn't want to be a full-time dad. This way, he could just be the fun godfather, and Stan would be trapped raising a kid that wasn't his. This guy was gobsmacked. Like, he thought he knew his girlfriend, but in that moment, he felt like he was looking at a complete stranger. For days, he was sick with guilt. Stan didn't deserve any of this. And he finally decided to confront Becca and Cindy head on. He told them if Cindy doesn't tell Stan the truth, he would, as he should. And that's when all hell broke loose. Cindy started to scream crying, and Becca just screamed at him. She accused him of betraying their loyalty and not understanding their quote-unquote code. The next day, things got even more unhinged. Mike showed up at his job. He got right in his face in the lobby, yelling that he was a meddling coward before security had to drag him out. But something that he screamed stuck with this guy. Because Mike said, "What me, Cindy and Becca do is none of your business." And Becca? That's when a dark thought started creeping into his head. A possibility so messed up he couldn't even deal with it yet. That night, he got a bunch of angry texts from Stan calling him judgmental. It was obvious that the girls had got to him first and twisted the story. And he didn't argue. He just sent him the video he took at their party. And taking that video was some next level intuition, right? And the angry messages stopped. A few minutes later, a single word came through. Thanks. 30 minutes after that, Becca's name lights up his phone. But he doesn't answer, because the truth was out. The next morning, Stan calls. He apologised for the text and thanked him for telling him everything. He'd already dumped Cindy and was demanding a non-invasive paternity test. He said that he would support the child if it was his, but he wanted nothing more to do with her, which is completely understandable. Later that day, he goes to Becca's apartment. The second she opened the door, she jumped straight into his arms, apologising for yelling, saying that she didn't want to lose him over Cindy's drama. He sat her down and asked her what their plan had ever been. She admitted Mike didn't want to be a full-time dad, so this whole scheme just made sense for everyone. And then she had the nerve to say that she wanted things to just go back to normal. And he finally asked the question that had been eating away at him since Mike's outburst. He asked, "Are you sleeping with Mike?" And Becca looked hurt and said no. But he pushed further. were you ever sleeping with him? And instead of answering, she just looked away. And there it was, a gut punch that literally took his breath away. And he just stood up and walked out, without saying another word. She left him dozens of messages, even admitting that her hookups with Mike and Cindy were over, and that he was now her future. She wanted to try couples counselling. But he knew it was pointless. He blocked her on everything. He lost the woman he loved, but he saved a good man from a lifetime of lies. So, my unconventional view is a man in Stan's situation that had a woman try to knowingly trick him into paying child support and looking after a kid that isn't his. He should be able to sue her to pay child support for an X amount of time. The same in situations where a woman gets pregnant and then years after a man is paying for that child or child support, he finds out it's not his because she cheated. He should get all of that money back and then some. So no, OP in this story is 100% not the arsehole. In fact, the world needs more people like him. What about you? Do you agree? Or do you think he should have let Cindy handle it how she wanted? Thanks for listening to that episode of Am I the Arsehole But Zen? Let's see if your verdict changes next time.